What's up, guys? Jordan here from Show Me Vegas. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Las Vegas Strip. Hey, last night I stayed here, the world famous Bellagio Hotel and Casino, and I did it because I'd heard a few rumors.
I love rumors.
Rumors about this place slipping in recent years.
Facts can be so misleading. Were rumors true or false are often revealing.
Is this still a premier hotel in Las Vegas, and is it worth your premium price tag in 2025? That's what I came to find out. Stay tuned. So I got checked in here to the Bellagio yesterday using the MGM Rewards app on my phone, and I think I've told you guys about this several times now, but if you're not using this and you're an MGM Rewards member, you definitely need to utilize this service. Almost every single time I've used it, my room has been ready early, and yesterday was no exception. My room was ready about 12:30 p.m., which was nice. I was able to drop my bags in the room, but then I wasn't unfortunately able to spend almost any time in this room yesterday because, well, I had a lot of stuff going on around the Strip. And then I went to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs last night at T-Mobile Arena. So by the time I got back to this room last night, it was nearly 11 p.m. and I was absolutely wiped out. What happened next? You can probably guess. I did the sensible thing. I watched the fountain show a couple of times and I went to bed early. I know you guys are going to kill me in the comments for that, but it is what it is. This is a Fountain View King room here at the Bellagio, and this is pretty much their hallmark standard room here on property. And I booked this specific room for a very specific reason. I wanted to find out if the Bellagio has slipped in 2025. Well, if this place has slipped, I can tell you it's not because of this guest room. Stick around, I will do a full room tour later in the video, but I can tell you right off the top, this room is immaculate. Luckily, early to bed means early to rise, and I'm up and at 'em early this morning, and that's good because I have a lot to do. I want to show you around this entire property, including the pool, which I will be able to do because as an MGM Gold member, I don't have to check out until 1 p.m. So without wasting any more time, I want to get downstairs and show you what there is to eat, see, and do here at the Bellagio. Huh, looks kind of like me. Me if I was 20 years younger and didn't like bourbon and pizza and hamburgers. Huh. All right, first order of business, get some coffee. You probably knew, but if you didn't, these premium hotels in Las Vegas don't offer free in-room coffee, probably because they know you're willing and able to pay $7 or $8 for a cup of coffee. All right, I do happen to know where the Starbucks is. Let's go get some Joe. Well, bummer, I thought I might beat the crowd, but like every Starbucks in Vegas in the morning, this one is super packed. You cannot do mobile order here either. I guess I'll just head outside and get a cup of coffee later. So no coffee just yet, but that's all right. I did want to come out and take a quick stroll in front of the Bellagio fountains because, well, this is the most iconic spot at the Bellagio, and it's probably the most iconic spot on the Las Vegas Strip. If you get down here early in the morning, you can walk this sidewalk with no people, and it's really nice. The fountains don't run in the morning, but that's all right. Nice to get some fresh air. You step in here to the main lobby at Bellagio and it's hard not to be impressed. This is one of the most gorgeous lobbies in Las Vegas, bar none. The ceiling is pretty cool too, let me tell you a little bit about it. The sculpture on the ceiling in here in the Bellagio lobby is known as the Fiore di Como, and this is a glass sculpture by Dale Chihuly. It's made up of over 2,000 hand-blown glass flowers, and it is incredible. You generally want to have your head on a swivel when you're in this lobby, or if you're like me, I guess you just get out your camera and walk and talk at the same time. Either way, this has got to be one of the busiest places in town. It's a madhouse. The prettiest spot in Las Vegas? Quite possibly. Definitely one of the most Instagram worthy. This is the Conservatory here at the Bellagio. They change out this decor 5 times a year. Lunar New Year, spring, summer, fall, and Christmas. My favorite is generally the Christmas display, but this one's pretty good. This is the spring 2025. Check this out. Now be advised, when you go to the conservatory, unless it's 6 o'clock in the morning, if you're prone to anxiety, that might trigger it. It is, again, have I mentioned the term madhouse yet? You might hear it again before this is over with. All right, let's go into the casino and talk about the history of this property and also what else it has to offer. Walking around in this hotel always makes me feel like I'm on the set of Ocean's 11, the new Ocean's 11, the good one. Don't even at me in the comments, the original Ocean's 11 sucks. But you know, the one with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. The Bellagio I first fell in love with by watching that movie before I ever even came here for the first time, and I always think about it.
Mr. Benedict, you can lose $80 million tonight secretly, or you can lose $160 million publicly. It's your decision. Hi.
The Bellagio opened in 1998 and it was built by Steve Wynn. At the time it opened, it was the world's most expensive resort at $1.6 billion. Steve Wynn also developed the Mirage and of course later Wynn and Encore, but as far as I'm concerned, this right here was his crowning achievement. The casino floor here is absolutely massive, and I know, you can say that about most Las Vegas resorts, but no. Here it's 156,000 square feet, which is enormous even by Vegas standards. Taking a load off in the middle of this tour just to rest my feet for a minute. I gotta say, I'm going home today. This has been a long trip and I'm a bit homesick. I miss my wife and kids and I miss my dogs. And that brings me to the sponsor of this episode, Sundays for Dogs. This is Flurry. And this is Hugo. No offense to anybody else, especially our kids, but these dogs are pretty much our lives. That's why we want to control as much of their lives as we can to give them the best possible chance at a long, healthy life. And that starts with what they eat. First we tried kibble, even Frenchie-specific formulas, and this one right here, she didn't like it all that much. She would even sometimes skip her meals. Then we went to fresh dog food and they both liked it a lot more, but man, what a mess. And it took up all kinds of room in our refrigerator. Then we found Sundays. Sundays has been a game changer for us. It's veterinarian formulated, high quality dog food made with 100% human grade ingredients, no fillers, no synthetics, and it's completely hassle free. It's been air dried to be shelf stable and completely mess free. Just scoop and serve. But do the dogs like it? I'd say that's a yes. Despite the fact that these guys aren't very good actors, I can't even imagine our lives without these guys, and I know you feel the same way about your dog. Give your dog the chance to try Sundays and watch them fall in love. Get 50% off your first order of Sundays at sundaysfordogs.com/showmevegas, or just use our code SHOWMEVEGAS at checkout. I know your dog can't talk, but if they could, I'm sure they'd say thank you. All right, back to the video. On the east side of the casino floor, backing up to the fountains of Bellagio, you'll find this. This is Mayfair Supper Club. This is dinner and a show, and we really enjoyed it back when we ate there a few years ago. I'd love to redo this one. I highly recommend, unless something has drastically changed. Another restaurant that's pretty famous here is this. This is Lago by Julian Serrano. This also backs up to the fountains and has outdoor dining. We also ate there, and we were a little underwhelmed. We thought the value for the price we paid wasn't very good. So at 156,000 square feet, this casino obviously offers a lot of slots, mostly newer machines. As a matter of fact, I'm sad to report that this area right here in the casino used to have a lot of old school 3-reel slot machines, and now I can only find a handful, and I do mean a handful. If you like the newer games though, you're in luck. They've got pretty much all of them here. It is the MGM selection though. MGM Resorts pretty much has the same slot machines at all their casinos. Most of the dining is here on this east side of the casino floor. That's because they want to take advantage of the fountain view. This is Le Cirque. This is a French restaurant that is extremely high-end, out of my price range, and really probably out of my comfort zone as well. Right down here at the end is Yellowtail. This is high-end sushi in Japanese. I don't know how I've not gone in here. I've never heard anything but glowing reviews about it. If you've had Yellowtail, put it in the comments. What'd you think? We're into the shops of the Esplanade now, and down these escalators is Prime Steakhouse. That is a very high-end steakhouse by Jean-Georges. Also down there used to be Picasso, but it actually just recently closed because Julian Serrano is retiring. That restaurant had been here since the hotel opened. The location of this hotel is prime. When you get to the end of the shops, you have two great options. You can go across the strip on this footbridge to the Horseshoe, or you can go across Flamingo Road on this footbridge to Caesar's Palace. As we walk back through the shops to get to the casino, I will say, if you're planning on doing any shopping here at the Bellagio, I hope you're prepared to open that wallet because it's almost exclusively high-end. Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Chanel, stuff like that. So if you do want to shop here, you might ask for a credit limit increase before you leave home. Right in the middle of the casino, inside what used to be Lily Cocktail Lounge, is Pinky Ring. This is by Bruno Mars, and he's even known to perform there from time to time. If you were hoping to get a picture though, don't even think about it. You're not allowed to take any photos or videos inside this place. Now I said the dining is almost exclusively high-end, but there is one exception. This is Snacks. This, I think, is open 24 hours a day. I'll put that on the screen if I'm wrong. But this is your one option that's semi-affordable, and it's not really a great option. This is the sports book here at the Bellagio, and I think this one's a bit underrated. It's kind of old school. It's got plush seating. It's got an old school betting desk that runs the length of the room. They've upgraded the screens, and of course they have the kiosks as well. I just like the feel in here, and I wish sports books were still more like this. Another thing to note is inside the sports book, there's also an old school race book, which you don't find at very many properties these days. Right outside the sports book, of course, you're going to find a sports bar, and then also sitting out here is the poker room. This is a popular poker room here in Vegas, and there's quite a bit of action going on, even on a Monday morning. Here's another did you know. Before Steve Wynn opened this property, did you know his plan was to name it the Beau Rivage? He later decided on the name Bellagio, and he saved that Beau Rivage name. He used that on his property in Biloxi, Mississippi, which is still open, still going by that name, and owned by MGM Resorts. Around the corner from the poker room, you're going to find the O Theater. This is O by Cirque du Soleil. This is one of their longest running shows. It's been here since the property opened. We had tickets to see this show years ago, and Ashton had to leave before the show even began because she had food poisoning. We were with friends, so I stayed and watched the show, and I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep several times. I was a little underwhelmed. Maybe I was just too tired. Leave a comment below, tell me if you like this show. Right around the corner from the O Theater, you're going to find the Bellagio's buffet. Yes, it still exists, but it's mostly just brunch. They only serve dinner on Saturdays and Sundays, and this has fallen off quite a bit in recent years. There are some rumors, once again rumors, that they might do away with this and replace it with a food hall. I think that would be a nice addition to this property. Right here by the buffet, this portion of the casino floor has always had slightly higher denom slot machines. And I noticed now that recently they've walled it off and just made it officially part of the high limit room. Let's talk about tables for a second. You're going to find them all in the middle of the casino floor lined up. Odds here are not going to be great. Keep your eyes peeled. Some of the roulette tables do have triple zeros. And they kind of hide it with that Bellagio B instead of a 000. Blackjacks are going to pay 6 to 5 unless you're willing to really open up your wallet. 3-2 blackjack's going to cost you, as a general rule, about $100 a hand. Table minimums here on this Monday morning, there's $15 craps, there's $15 blackjack, $15 poker variants, $15 roulette. In the evenings, that's usually going to go up to $25 regardless of the day of week. Although I will say, last night on Sunday night, I did see a few tables still at that $15 minimum. All right, that's a look around the resort. Now, while I was down there, I did film a complete walking tour of this property, and that's going to come out in a separate video. If you've not seen those on the channel, check them out. I walk from the front of the property to the back of the property, top to bottom, in a continuous tour and show you everything. Those types of videos will help you find your way around if you are coming to stay here. So it's going to come out after this one. Be sure and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you see that when it comes out. All right, I did mention it's going to be a pretty hectic morning. I still haven't shown you this room, so I think it's time for the room tour. Now, I mentioned this was a fountain view king, which means it's in the Bellagio Tower, and of course it overlooks the fountains. I'll show you the view. It's pretty awesome. You come into this room and you're pretty immediately impressed. I love the marble tile floor, the floor-to-ceiling mirror over here. The bathroom is right to my right. We'll get back to that. There's also a closet, but let's go ahead and head on into the bedroom. These Fountain View King rooms check in at 510 square feet, which is actually pretty large. For reference, most hotel rooms in Vegas are 400 square feet, but 510 square feet is pretty spacious, and you notice it right away. There's definitely a lot of space in this room. The bed was very comfortable. It's described on the website as a premium handcrafted mattress, whatever that means. All I know is that it's a pillow top and it was super comfortable. The sheets were pure luxury. These were some of the best sheets I've ever slept on. I would love to have some of these from home. I also like the style. It's got a leather wrapped headboard that's nice, beautiful wall sconces above each nightstand. And at the foot of the bed you have a nice little bench to sit down and put your shoes on, or you can use it as a luggage rack. When I checked in, the bellman did put my suitcase on that, so dual purpose. I love the furniture in this room. I'll show you the entertainment center in a minute, but these nightstands are beautiful, glass topped. They're nice and clean looking too, no clutter. On this side you just have a phone, on the other side an iHome alarm clock with wireless charging on top. At first I didn't think there was any place to plug anything in here, but then I noticed all the outlets are on the side of the nightstand. Over in the corner to the left of the window you do have a little living room area. I love this little love seat. I don't know if it's a couch or a love seat. You could probably seat 3 people on this. There's also a nice little coffee table, although I will say last time we stayed here at the Bellagio, on that coffee table were real roses. Not anymore. I don't know if they've totally done away with that. Now up to this point I've loved pretty much everything about this room, but this is where it starts to get a little bit disappointing. Over in front of the window they have this table. It has to serve both as your desk and your dining table. It's a nice size, it's attractive, it does have power outlets and a light over the top of it, but there's only one chair. It was this way last time we stayed at the Bellagio, and I thought maybe by now they would have changed this. There's a chair on one side and an awkward little stool on the other side. If you've got 2 people in this room dining, I'm not sure how you choose who gets the chair and who gets the stool, but somebody's going to get the short end of the stick. All right, the entertainment wall. They call this piece of furniture a media center, which makes sense. It's not really a dresser. There's not storage in it. There's just 2 little drawers. The only drawer storage you have in this room is in the nightstands, although I will say the nightstands are huge and those are pretty good sized drawers, so that's not too bad. In this media center, you're going to find your mini bar and your overpriced snacks. We'll have a look at that menu here in just a second. And on the end, a nice little cubby that has your ice bucket, 2 wine glasses, and 2 regular glasses to use while you're here in the room. I interrupt this room tour to bring you Mini Bar Real Talk with Jordan. One of the smart waters has a QR code on it so you can find the mini bar menu, and I've got it pulled up here. I'll also put it on the screen so you can browse it if you'd like. Let's take a look at what we have here. 1 liter smart water. $24. Snacks, pistachios, $23. Jumbo cashews, $24. The romance kit is $51 if you're interested. A Coca-Cola is going to cost you $13. Red Bull energy drink, $16. Now this doesn't make any sense. You can get a Patron shot for $21. That's cheaper than water. So why would you drink the water? What also doesn't make sense is Jack Daniels costs more than Patron. Jack Daniels 50 mLs, $23. If you want to really spend, you can get a half bottle of wine for $71 or champagne for $91. And if you're curious, if you're just a beer drinker, beers are $15. Now let me dispel a myth that I see a lot of people spread online about mini bars, and that's that if you even touch anything in there, you're going to get charged for it. That's absolutely not true. They are on a timer, and if you do have it out of the fridge for too long, you will get charged for it. But if you didn't intend to buy it, put it back, call the front desk, explain to them the mistake, and they will refund it, I promise you. If they don't, you absolutely have a basis to dispute that with your credit card company. But trust me, it's not going to get that far. This has been Mini Bar Real Talk with Jordan. Now back to your room tour. I mentioned the little table slash desk was one place this room underwhelms me. The other is the bathroom. It's nice and all, but it's just not quite that top tier. Let's go have a look. One reason I say it's not quite top tier is because it's a little bit small. These bathrooms used to be bigger, and they used to have a tub on one side and a walk-in shower on the other. Now they've taken up part of this bathroom to make a closet. These rooms didn't used to have a closet, they had an armoire out in the room, that was your storage. But when they remodeled these rooms, they took out the walk-in shower and replaced it with a closet, and then they took out the tub and replaced it with a walk-in shower. Now the walk-in shower is really nice, and I like the way it's laid out. I like the way they put the controls in the middle of the wall so you don't have to stand under the stream to turn it on. But I still think in this day and age, in a high-end hotel room, you still need to have a tub. The bathroom does have a very attractive dual sinked vanity. I love the granite top. I like the fixtures. I love these mirrors. They call these backlit mirrors energizing. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it does put off a nice glow. In addition to your hand wash and body lotion on the vanity top, they also have a toothbrush and toothpaste, which is nice, and a shaving kit. You don't even have to ask for it, it's just already in the room. That's a nice touch. But I will say I don't like the pump bottles in the shower, the community toiletries, if you will. I think in a high-end hotel, until it becomes required by law to do otherwise, I think you should still have the single serve. Also on the vanity, you do have a backlit makeup mirror, but no place to sit down and do your makeup. And also here, this is a big drawback. The toilet is just sitting in the corner of the room, and it's kind of tight back there. Although, hey, good news, you do have that phone. Now I did mention they took up part of the old bathrooms with a new closet, and here's the closet. Pardon the mess, it's a little bit lived in, but it's a decent size. It gets the job done. They do offer robes, which you can't call yourself a luxury property without having some robes. A lot of people don't like these. I always use the robes whenever I have them available. You've also got the safe in here. You have your iron and ironing board, a luggage rack, and in addition to the robes, they did offer slippers, although I didn't use those. Yes, those are my Crocs. Those are my pool shoes. Don't judge. So the bathroom is like a 6 out of 10 for me, but I haven't shown you the coolest feature of this room. Hey, it's a fountain view king. Let's check out the fountain view. This room is on the 28th floor, and I'm pretty close to the middle, so this is an awesome view. It's fun to watch these when they're going on. And tune to channel 22 on your room TV, and it'll have the music synchronized with the fountain show while it's happening. Now that I've got the room tour out of the way, I do have just enough time to go check out that pool. I'm gonna grab my sunglasses and head out there. Believe it or not, I've never actually seen the pool area at the Bellagio, so we're gonna see it for the first time together. So the pool area here absolutely does not disappoint. This is absolutely gorgeous. If I wasn't going home today, I would absolutely stay out here and have a pool day. Super relaxing, multiple pools. The water is heated and it's open year round. There's also a poolside cafe. There's a little shop you can buy swimwear if you forgot it. They've thought of everything out here. It's just overall excellent. I love all the topiaries, and I've got to say these are some of the most impressive looking cabanas I've seen. Right up there on par with the Wynn. I'm sure they're right up on par with the Wynn in terms of price as well, though. Of course, you don't have to rent a cabana. Loungers are first come, first serve, and they're free. There are quite a few available, although most of them are taken up right now. This is an 80-degree day in April. Perfect pool weather. Alright, even with my late checkout, time is running short, so it's time to go over my overall thoughts and pros and cons for staying at the Bellagio in 2025. Let's get into it. I said at the top of this video that I had heard that the Bellagio was slipping or had slipped in recent years, and that's why I was here, to find out if that was true. In my experience, absolutely not. This was a top-notch stay, a great room, and the resort overall is in fantastic condition. On top of that, there was great service. Yes, this is an expensive hotel, but in my opinion, or at least in my experience this last 24 hours, I do think you're still getting what you pay for here. Before we get into the pros and cons, let's talk about cost. I always pay for my hotel rooms, and I booked this one through MGM Rewards. I didn't have any comp offers whatsoever, so I just got the gold member rate. My rate last night on a Sunday night was $177 and some change. After the tax, it was about $201 all in, because as an MGM Gold member, I don't have to pay the resort fee, so that's nice. That's about as cheap as you're going to find this room. Sunday nights are generally one of the cheaper nights of the week, although I will say last night was the second night of WrestleMania, so I was a little bit surprised to find that rate. If you look at the rate calendar, rates bounce around depending on what's going on in town. This room can go anywhere from this price on up to $500, $600, $700 on the weekends. But by and large, I think you're going to find it for $400 to $500 on the weekends if you're paying the rack rate. Yes, that's expensive, but again, this is a premium resort and it's perfectly situated on the Strip. All right, I said pros and cons, so let's start with the pros. Pro number one for me, this is an iconic stay. This is a must-do at least once in your life type of stay. If you're a Vegas aficionado, if you come here frequently and vacation in Las Vegas, you need to be able to say at least once that you've stayed at the Bellagio. It's iconic. Not iconic in that it's one of the older properties in town or it has the history of, say, a Caesar's Palace, but iconic in a modern way. This is probably the most famous modern Vegas hotel. And I think regardless how you feel about the price, I think it's worth splurging on at least once. Pro number two, location doesn't get any better than the Bellagio. The Bellagio is kind of the epicenter of the Las Vegas Strip. I mean, the fountains really are mid-strip. I think the intersection here of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo Road is dead center strip, so Caesar's Palace, Bellagio, Horseshoe, Cromwell, soon to be the Vanderpump Hotel. If you're staying here, it's easy to go north or south, go across the strip. Everything is right in your backyard if you're staying here at the Bellagio location-wise. Pro number three, I mentioned the hotel is in fantastic condition. This room was almost perfect. I think maybe I found one scuff on a baseboard, but other than that, everything was in perfect condition and perfectly clean. They're definitely keeping it up to the standard of a premier hotel. And pro number four, I found the service here to be fantastic. And it starts with the MGM app. Yes, I consider that app part of the MGM customer service experience because, well, it replaces the front desk if you want it to. I did want it to. I used a digital key for my entire stay and it worked perfectly. I had no issues with it whatsoever. In addition to that, everybody that I came into contact with, from the bell desk to the housekeepers, were perfectly pleasant and friendly. They definitely deliver on top-notch service. All right, let's talk about cons. I really only have one. I think this hotel is a little bit too pretentious. Yes, it's a premier property. Yes, it commands a high room rate, and it draws in affluent people. But there's almost nothing to eat, drink, or do here that's affordable. Even the Wynn and Encore don't take themselves too seriously in that regard. They have more affordable dining options than they have here at Bellagio, which I think is crazy because the Wynn is more luxurious and it's more expensive to stay. But even if you're willing to pay a high room rate to stay here, occasionally you want just a quick, cheap bite to eat, and you're not going to find that here at all. You're going to have to go somewhere else. And of course, it helps that the location is so centrally located. You can go over to a food hall, say at Cosmopolitan or at Aria, or you can go across the street to the Miracle Mile shops, and they're not very far away. But Bellagio, stop taking yourself so seriously. All in all, did I enjoy myself here at the Bellagio the last 24 hours? Absolutely. I loved the stay and I wouldn't hesitate to do it again, and I would recommend you try it at least once. Hey, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel. Those things help us tremendously. They help us grow. Also, turn on that notification bell so you get notified anytime we release new content. I've got to be moving on. This was my last night in Vegas. I'm ready to get home. I've got an afternoon flight for once, which is nice, not leaving at the crack of dawn. Time to go. I'll see you in that next video because there's always more for us to show you on Show Me Vegas.